we're gonna ruin your life. And you might think we're not legally allowed to, but I assure you, you're wrong.
I'm gonna fucking destroy you now. I'm gonna burn everything.
You're fucked for life now. I'm gonna ruin your life, okay? I'm gonna make it sure that when anybody Googles your name, you'll never get a job again. That's my goal. I'm very fucking mean-hearted. I'm very cruel.
This is what I like to do to my enemies. I don't like to just defeat them and ignore them and whatever, be above. No. I destroy you. I'm not one of those people who just moves on. I'm a vindictive cunt. And I'm not gonna stop. We're just beginning here. I'm not gonna stop destroying your life, just destroying it. Like, I am gonna take everything away from you that you love. I want you to feel as low as I did when I found out that you betrayed me.
The one thing I hear consistently is, you just think Karen Read is guilty because you hate Turtle Boy. That is simply not true. I think Karen Read is guilty because she is guilty. And yes, I do hate Turtle Boy. I'm entitled to. I used to be Turtle Boy. That was back before Turtle Boy became synonymous with Aidan Kearney. Back when it was, in Aidan's words, an idea, a movement, a collective consciousness united by a common cause. We are all Turtle Boy, he would say, and I believed it, unaware that I was surrendering pieces of myself to something larger, something all-consuming and destructive. I didn't realize I had joined a cult until I looked around and saw it had swallowed my life whole. From the moment I first entered the world of Turtle Boy, I witnessed the immense power of social media. It was intoxicating at times, but in the wrong hands, it could become devastatingly destructive. Over time, I came to a sobering realization. Turtle Boy wasn't a revolution or a force for good. It was a scourge. I found myself at the forefront, arbitrarily tearing others down, not for justice or truth, but solely to line Aidan's pockets and fuel his insatiable ego. I hate that I contributed to it, that I helped revive it when it was on the verge of withering away and dying. I hate the suppression of free thought and the stifling of expression that pervades the space Turtle Boy occupies. To be completely honest, I hate Turtle Boy far more than I hate Aidan Kearney. On his own, he's just a small, weak man with thin skin and a mean streak. But the toxic little corner he carved out has grown exponentially, enabling him to exercise his cruelty in ways not even I would have expected.
Every time you fucking cry about that and say, oh, he's attacking the family, I get fucking hard. I love it. I love it. And there's nothing you can do about it.
And above all, I hate my own participation. I hate how long it took me to walk away. At first, being asked to write for Turtle Boy felt like a compliment, recognition of my writing skills and appreciation of my talent. But now I realize I was likely chosen not for my abilities, but because I was weak. An eager, engaged fan with a sordid and troubled personal history documented just enough on social media to attract a kind of nefarious predator I hadn't even considered existed. I knew what toxic relationships looked like. Truth be told, they are all I have ever known. But a toxic professional relationship? That was unfathomable to me at the time. Leave it to me to add that to my repertoire. I've always had a knack for finding self-destruction in the most unlikely places. In the 2 years I wrote for Turtle Boy Sports, as it was called back then, I got to know Aidan Kearney way more than I ever really wanted to. I found him to be rude, self-centered, bullish, and cruel. I didn't personally like him, but then again, most people around didn't either. They just feared him. By 2020, I was done. I was tired of the blog. It had done nothing but cause more chaos and upheaval in my life, stealing even more precious time away from my children. Aidan was barely paying me, and our goals and morals had split so far apart that even online spectators could see the growing fracture. Aidan wanted to make money and grow his presence by any means necessary. The weight of the guilt I was carrying from harming others was too large for me to ignore anymore. One more straw on my proverbial back, and I knew I was going to snap. I could barely contain my disdain for Aidan Kearney, even in front of his followers.
You guys remember the Eye Roll show? When she got that big audience, and I realized someone was wrong that night because I'm like, can you share the fundraiser, Kate? Remember, this is all about the fundraiser. We're trying to raise money for Turtle Boy here. That's the whole purpose of this, right?
And she rolled her eyes and said, not on my show. Bitch, it's not your show. You don't have a fucking show. You're a gutter muppet that has the privilege of being on my platform. That's it. You don't have a fucking show. It's my show. Let's be clear. She thought it was her show. No. Property of Turtle Boy, bitch. Fall back. You're nothing.
Aidan Kearney did not fire me from his blog. I quit. I know how his revisionist history works. His stories evolve and he tells them over and over, hoping to just bury the truth.
Go back, just search Kate Peter, tvdailynews.com. I fired her when I caught her stealing. She used to write for me, and she was sabotaging kind of the company from the inside a little bit. She was so shady the whole time. I liked Kate. I thought she was decent. I thought she was a good writer.
It's hard to do on the internet. Everything on the web is written in ink, not pencil that can just be erased. I did not steal money from Aidan Kearney. I was never privy to the financial end of the blog. I also was not fired by Aidan. I quit. He has admitted it and told most of the story before, with a few little twists to hide the truth that we both know.
On February 12th, I found out that she was collecting money from Garage Doors Plus, one of my advertisers, and without telling me, and doing reads for him. And I talked to him about it. He's like, oh, she didn't tell me that. She just said it was okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I contacted her about it, and she lost it. She quit. She was like looking for a reason to quit. So that day, I got served by Hadassah for another fucking restraining order or some shit. And I did an impromptu live, and it was supposed to be about Hadassah, but everyone was asking in the comments about Kate, because she had made a post saying, we're starting our own thing, blah, 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 blah.
I had collected 1 month of advertising money from Garage Doors Plus. This is true. I was simply doing exactly what Aidan had told us to do. Monetize the show, get sponsors, give him 25%. Garage Doors Plus had approached me, offered to sponsor, and assured me he had run it by Aidan. To this day, I still believe that he was telling me the truth and had spoken to Aidan. The real issue was that I was charging Garage Doors Plus only $300 a month, half of what Aidan was charging them, while I was getting 3 times the amount of viewers Aidan was. He accused me of undercutting him and told me he was afraid that Garage Doors Plus would realize that he was getting more from me for less money and end their sponsorship with Aidan. That was never going to happen, as the company was content sponsoring both. But in setting a fair price for my show, based on the industry standard CPM at the time, I had inadvertently exposed Aidan's con. He was overcharging and under-delivering. My decision to leave wasn't driven by one event, but by many. I was unhappy with Aidan's demands and focused on building my own group. We poured our time, money, and effort into our YouTube stream, which quickly gained a dedicated audience, many of whom didn't care for the Turtle Boy brand. As we grew, being associated with Turtle Boy became increasingly embarrassing. Our streams consistently outperformed his on his own channel, which made him resentful. When he realized I was serious about quitting, the threats and blackmail started. He threatened to harm my children, my friends, my reputation, and me if I didn't shut down my independent YouTube channel and promise not to start a new one. In a moment of weakness and fear, I relented. He celebrated publicly, bragging about bullying me into silence.
The Bristol crew, whatever, the war, it's over. It's done. Okay. This afternoon, they took down their Facebook page, their Discord, their YouTube, their Twitter, everything. It's over. It's done.
Watching him gloat triggered emotions I had fought against my entire life. I had spent years giving up my power and voice through my parents' contentious divorce, abusive relationships, and my struggle to escape the social welfare system. Who was this man? Someone I'd met in person only 3 times, to strong-arm me into silence. Who was he to act like he owned me? This moment is critical to understanding the struggle that has led to what will likely be our final showdown. It marked the beginning of Aidan's relentless campaign of threats, reputational destruction, legal harassment, and intimidation. A campaign that continues to this day. Aidan Kearney has an insatiable need to control and dominate others, and I have a near-pathological refusal to be controlled or bullied ever again, or to let it happen to anyone else. By the time the Karen Reed case exploded, and I had seen all the harm he caused while drunk with power and control, reveling in the misery of completely unsuspecting innocent people, his preferred weapons, public shaming, reputational harm, and tough-talking intimidation held absolutely no power over me. I've lived my own life, the highs and the lows. I know who I am and who I am not. Aidan always used to say that public shaming works, but it doesn't work on me. I stepped up when no one else would, and I spoke out, knowing that his attacks would just intensify. What else could I do? I knew how the blog worked. I knew what these innocent people were going through, and I knew that I could withstand anything that he and his mob would throw at me. I had been doing it for years. I was compelled to use my voice and my knack for getting to the bottom of things to help. Since I quit Turtle Boy, Aidan has repeatedly filed false police reports against me, accusing me twice of hacking his computer. Both times, the police determined his claims were baseless. I could do a whole separate lore video on the 2021 hacking accusations he made, which I later dubbed the hackening. However, the only points relevant today are: 1. At some point, Aidan knew he wasn't hacked, but continued pursuing charges out of spite and a desire to silence me. And 2. He sent a photo of his own children in the bathtub to an online troll, attempting to coerce the police into charging me. He bizarrely believed this would result in CP charges against me instead of himself, using logic that remains utterly inexplicable to this day. I've endured multiple magistrates' hearings and harassment prevention order hearings. Many were dismissed, but a few succeeded in at least bringing charges. The common thread is that all of Aidan's accusations, or those he has influenced, are fabricated and reported to police as part of a larger pattern to punish and silence me. On November 18th, 2023, Aidan Kearney walked into the Holden Police Department to report me for witness intimidation. He had told his then-girlfriend and others that he needed to get me charged with something, anything, to get me to stop working with the police. His words, not mine. He came prepared with a lengthy, pre-written list of every single mean thing I had ever said about him in the history of my YouTube channel. This list went back as far as 4 years, and not one statement had anything to do with Aidan Kearney being a witness in any case. It was my side of a vicious back and forth that had been going on for years. My outrage and anger at the cruel things I watched him do to others. My sometimes explosive devastation at the way he continuously smeared my children, who were completely uninvolved in the online antics of their mother. He threw everything at the wall that he could, as he always had, to see if anything would stick.
So a magistrate in Leominster will have the option now to either just read over the evidence and file it without a hearing, or give her a shot at a magistrate's hearing, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's just like, I wish it's not. It's like, well, but TB2, no. This is a one-sided thing there, Paige. You don't, like, I was perfectly content with writing about the Karen Reed thing, and then this happens. Like, what am I supposed to do there? I did nothing. I don't. You look at my channel. Do you see a lot of her faces on the thing? Nope. Don't do any of that. So, anyway.
The timing of the complaint should have tipped an astute detective off, but apparently none were on duty at the Holden Police Department that day. They took a report, and they settled on one sentence picked out of a 2-hour live stream, broadcast nearly 2 years before Aidan came in to make a report.
Christ, man.
Wait, where's that
I'm
audio
gonna
tape?
tell you one thing that we have done. So the next court date, I would highly suggest Aidan not show up to it. It's not a threat. She is going to have protection with her this time. That woman is never going to be accosted by you in a parking lot ever again.
No, she's
Ever again. Do not show up. I'm telling you, do not show up.
not a good
Wait,
idea.
what's all right? So go back to this. So Aidan chased out the Chrissy's broad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she's a tiny broad.
Yeah, she's like 5 feet tall.
When it's one tiny, I'm telling you, like 5 feet, 100 pounds soaking
What's our
wet,
next court?
small woman by
April.
herself with nothing but her lawyer, then he's actually accosting her in the parking lot. Like you will never accost this woman in a
Maddie, if you
lot.
want to, I'm with it.
Like the next woman that you try to intimidate like this, like we'll show up to that too. We can do this forever. We could literally do this forever. The next time that you want to slide into some broad's DMs and threaten her business and threaten her reputation and harass her, like,
And you
Yep.
went at her and you tried to fucking threaten her. You tried to fucking intimidate her. You tried to make her back down like a lot of these weak fucking riders you got do. And she didn't.
That's it. That is the felony witness intimidation charge that Aidan is always crowing about. No threats of violence, no threats at all. In fact, no mention of any participation in the court process at all. I think that what I was talking about is clear to most people. And it had nothing to do with Aidan being a witness in any case. I had no reason to believe that he was. It wasn't anything to do with the court process that I was objecting to, clearly. It was Aidan's harassment of a tiny woman who he admits was terrified of him every time she attended a court date.
You know how flustered Chrissy was by this, dude? She sat in the bathroom. Her car was there before anyone else's. She was in the courthouse. She must have been hiding in the bathroom until her lawyer got there because she was so afraid. I'm not going to hurt you, Chrissy. We're just here to ask you some questions.
Aidan's only purpose in showing up to court was to photograph her in the courtroom without court permission, film her, taunt her, and harass her, and then post it on social media to humiliate her. I still fail to see to this day how his presence had anything to do with the court process at all. Just about everything he has been charged for in Norfolk County, he was doing to this woman at the time. He knew that she was aware that he had participated in the crime and lied to the police, so he threatened her business, her family, her reputation, and kept the pressure on her to keep her quiet.
How'd that turn out, dear? How'd that turn out? I'll be at your next court date, too. I'll be at all of them. I'll be there when you're convicted. And then I'll be contacting all of your customers to let them know that you wiretap their phone calls, too, because you probably do.
At no point did it dawn on me, or even Aidan for that matter, that he could ever possibly be a witness in this case. He was just a horrible bully pressuring a woman into silence. Frankly, if anyone could have been a witness in that case, for the prosecution, it would have been me. He had sent me the full recording, as sent to him, and instructed me not to share it. I responded, of course not, because it was a felony. I knew it was wiretapped because he told me it was. So he knew as well. He instructed the defendant in the case to send him an email without any text in the body, so that if anything went wrong and the authorities got involved, he would be protected by plausible deniability.
Because you send me a tape of something and it's interesting, I'm going to play it. And so she's stupid. She doesn't understand how the law works, Chrissy. Hadassah hears that. Hadassah calls the police. Chrissy obviously is implicated because she recorded it. But the cops called me about that. The Milford police called me about that. And they said, did you know this was illegally recorded? I go, no, I got sent the tape. I play it, period. They go, case closed. You're out of it. If I had said yes, then I could have been implicated in the crime as well. Certainly. I could have been charged as well.
He's used this tactic in other instances of wiretapping as well, and often taunts his victims with it.
So if Margie had told me I have an illegally recorded conversation here between Katie Thompson and I, and then I played it knowing that would be a crime. But if she just sent me an audio and didn't say that, if the audio existed, which I'm certainly not saying no audio like that exists, I definitely did not, Katie Thompson, hear anything like that, just to let you know. I mean, these people are so stupid. What do they think I'm going to say when the cops call me? Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, I got it right. Oh, totally. I was just breaking the law. And then they announced it to the world. That's what I was doing. Right. No. Stupid. I mean, dumbasses. Seriously.
By the time the stream I am now being criminally charged for occurred, Aidan's relationship with the woman who had refused to report him for his part in the crime had soured, and I was long gone from the blog. Whereas before he had attended her hearings to support her and decry what he called injustice and corruption, he now was showing up to intimidate, antagonize, and humiliate her, much like the conduct he has been indicted for relating to the Karen Reed case.
I just laugh, no way you're intimidating Christina Yakomowski. I mean, I did the same thing with Christina Yakomowski. I did this. I followed her outside of court and asked pointed, tough questions of her for her wiretapping case with Hadassah. And I was aggressive. I was rude. I was the same shit I was with this other people.
Aidan is not as brilliant as he believes himself to be. Yet, he has managed to do to me exactly what he accused the state police, prosecutor, and me of doing to him. He took an isolated statement out of context to fabricate a charge against me, 2 years after the fact, as a means of silencing and punishing me. For years, he has manipulated his local police department against me, but this is perhaps his most egregious act. The full context is not only in the video, but in the broader story. Aidan knows what he was doing to that woman and why I was upset. At the time, I had no reason to believe he was a witness, only that he was a vindictive bully trying to intimidate someone who could expose him. For the record, as far as I know, the case was dismissed without a trial or Aidan Kearney ever testifying. I remain unconvinced he was ever listed as a witness, as he claims. Without a trial, there wouldn't have been a witness list, and it's unclear what he could have testified to. Realistically, he would have had to plead the fifth. Aidan has taken this manufactured charge and used it to get a protective order against me, which he regularly tries to weaponize.
She has the right to be here.
No, not if I have an order on her.
She was here first.
It doesn't matter if she's here. It doesn't matter if she's here first.
You could cross there and avoid her.
It doesn't matter if I'm here first.
You could cross there and avoid her.
I'm aware. Well, first of all, I just came from there, so I crossed that way. But it doesn't matter if she's here first. Does that matter?
Yes, she has the right to be here also. So
Not if I'm here. Like this right now is a violation.
If you want to get to your car, you can cross at that crosswalk. Walk in front of the.
I'm talking to the officer.
All right.
Excuse me. I'm trying to talk to the officer.
He doesn't have to film him.
It doesn't matter.
You don't have to film him.
Sir, excuse me.
No, you can film it. It's fine.
Yeah, he doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter who's here first according to an order. You know that, right?
You could cross there and avoid her.
I just crossed. I came from here.
Yeah, but you're intentionally trying to walk near her.
What do you mean intentionally? This is the fastest way.
No, you could walk there. It's a square.
But first of all, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to get something to drink down there because I'm running low on water. And I'm going to come back this way. But she can't be here. I mean, this is an order. She can? You're sure of that? So when I was inside that courthouse and somebody with an order walked in on me, right? I had to leave even though I was there first, right?
She was there. You're trying to initiate contact with her.
I am. I'm not trying to initiate contact. I'm just walking towards the protest. But I'm just saying, if I want to walk by here, that's a problem.
You have every right to walk by here.
Okay. All right. So.
Most concerning is Aidan's relentless obsession with depriving me of my liberty by any means necessary. He has discovered that filing false police reports can meet the minimal threshold of probable cause, leading to complaints and potential bail revocation, unjustly putting me in jail for actions I did not commit.
And so the hold but probable cause, the bar isn't high to charge someone, and she can get her bail revoked if she's charged with a crime, as she should.
Recently, he created a fake YouTube account impersonating mine, posted a message directed at himself, and reported it to the police. He also accused me of tagging him on social media, which is impossible since I have had him blocked on all platforms since March 2024. Luckily, the clerk magistrate saw through his attempts to manipulate the system, and no charges issued. But it's a hollow victory, as I am sure he will just try to manufacture something else to continue to retaliate against me for the information I have given to police.
There's liberty at stake here, and now I'm starting to get a little upset about how this particular department is being used against Ms. Peters.
I know that I will have to take my case to trial. I am someone who will always take responsibility for my mistakes, but I will not capitulate to something I did not do. The irony in this is that Aidan has repeatedly claimed that the witness intimidation statute is unconstitutional and needs to be repealed.
We want to put the witness intimidation statute on trial because we believe it's unconstitutional.
I guess what he means is only when it affects him. I take a lot of solace in knowing that, In making this accusation against me, he is essentially undercutting every defense he has tried to lay out for himself. By saying that one sentence in an old YouTube stream is witness intimidation, he is essentially condemning himself for his own actions on his. I never took a mob to his house, or stood outside his business to financially harm him, or tried to interfere with a case at all. He and I have a long history filled with animosity. Meanwhile, he has said things like this to people he does not know, simply because of their testimony in a murder case.
Talk to Chris Albert. All he has to do is come clean and get his son to admit what he did and get his brother to admit what he did, and then this thing's over. Then there's no more going to kids' games and interviewing and going to your goddamn pizza shop. It all fucking ends. So I'm sick of this. You're playing right into their hands if you do this whole like, oh, we can't leave kids out of it.
The truth is, I cannot stand by and watch innocent people suffer at the hands of a monster I helped create. I was part of Turtle Boy. I helped it grow, engaged in its harmful behavior, and paved the way for the damage it now causes. To absolve myself of that guilt, I feel compelled to actively fight against it. No challenge I face compares to what I've already overcome. I have endured great pain and profound loss. Chaos no longer unsettles me, and neither ridicule nor shame can deter my path. I know many hesitate to speak out against injustice, but silence only allows it to thrive. There is power in numbers, and even greater strength in the unwavering truth. I knew what I was getting into. I chose this path, and I will walk it to the end, no matter the cost. It's just the right thing to do. If you like what we are doing and want to contribute financially to the channel, the best way is by buying us a coffee. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/massholemedia and chip in to buy us coffee. It really helps with the late nights we spend scripting, editing, and producing these videos. If not, you could always give us a like and share the content to help the algorithm notice us.